Welcome back to the Trend Talk, and I told you this was an episode chock full of Latino powerhouses, and today we have writer, director, producer, and all-around great guy, Ben DeJesus. You are currently working on a documentary with John Leguizamo, and you have all kinds of other projects under your belt, so welcome to the Trend Talk.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so exciting to see you. Also, you started off your career, we're going to get to John Leguizamo's very important project that you're working on, but I want to talk about you too, like the stuff that you've done, because you've had a long career, and one of the things that popped up for me was that you worked at MTV Cribs.
Yes.
Very popular show.
Yes, I actually was one of the producers in the very beginning of that show. I actually started as an intern at MTV, and I worked my way to PA.
Yeah.
And then I worked my way to producer, and I ended up being a producer for 3 seasons of MTV Cribs.
Wow. See, I was going to ask you, of course, you didn't start right away being a producer at MTV, so that was how you got started, being an intern.
Yes, I worked for free for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what you got to do, but did you gather a lot of experience? It made you a producer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that a lot of times in life, you just got to show up. You got to be ready, and then all of a sudden, opportunity will find you. It's funny how that works.
If you work hard.
The harder you work, the luckier you get.
Right, and especially in Hollywood, it's such a tough industry to penetrate, right? All around, whether you're a producer or an actor, or writer, and we need more people of color in the industry. So I applaud you for, making your way. You've done so many different things, including directing. Talk to us about directing for Disney.
Sure. Well, I actually, before I went to Disney, I had been a director for about 10 years. I'd done a lot of music videos, documentaries, MTV, and I got into the Disney directing program, which for people out there who are aspiring, I would definitely recommend that. There's a writer's version, there's an actor's version of it. So I had to apply against 1,300 people, and they picked 10 of them, and luckily I was one of them. I did that for about 2 years. They put you on different shows, and you shadow, and I was shadowing on comedy shows.
Tell us what shadowing is.
Shadowing is it's like glorified observation. Like you're basically going into the room and seeing how it happens, but you obviously are drawing on your experience from before, so you're there to learn, but you're there to take the reins one day. So in the program, they put you on all these different shows. They put me on Blackish, Fresh Off the Boat, a ton of Disney shows, and then before I knew it, I got my own show. So,
congratulations.
Awesome.
The template for what you're doing now, the work that you're doing with John Leguizamo, which is doing a documentary on his way to being on Broadway with Latin History for Morons. But first, you did that template with Kettle Clown.
Tales from a
Kettle Clown, right?
Exactly.
Talk to us about Tales. I mean, I saw it, but talk to us about what it's about for those that may not have had a chance to see it.
Well, Tales from a Kettle Clown basically captures John's journey to mount his latest one-man show on Broadway after he had been gone for 10 years.
Wow.
After Sexaholics, people don't realize, but he had kind of a little bit of a stage fright incident. So he took a break for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So after we hit it off, I said, hey, John, you mind if I show up at rehearsal with a camera? And I basically never stopped showing up. We turned it into a documentary, and it aired nationally on PBS.
And that's what you're doing with Latin History for Morons. Tell us first what Latin History for Morons is about.
Great. Well, Latin History for Morons is John's new one-man show that's heading to Broadway in October. And it basically takes 3,000 years of much of it forgotten history of Latinos, and he crams it into 90 minutes of comedy, enlightenment, all kinds of great information.
Then we all need to learn a little Latin history, right?
Because we don't get that at school.
No, our stories have been hidden from history books. And that's why John's on this, he calls it an intellectual jihad.
Wow.
So tell us, what stories we're going to see in Latin History for Morons.
Well, the fact that Latinos have fought in every American war since the Revolutionary War. We've been present for it all.
Wow.
We're the most decorated minority of all minorities for hundreds of years, and yet our stories are hidden. The idea of barbecue, even something as simple as barbecue, comes from the Taino Indians, barbacoa.
Wow.
Really?
So there's all these tidbits, chocolate, so many things have come from us.
Right.
And yet when you look at the history books, somehow it's just a European-centric side of the story.
Well, we talk about immigrants. We are a land of immigrants, and we have contributed so much, but it's not in the history books. And that's what John is tapping into, that it's not in the history books. And we need to let people know that we're not apologizing for being here. This is our country. We're Americans, but we also, our ancestors have been here and contributing so much to this country. So this is a very important project, and I applaud you and John. Tell him we said, hey, wonderful stuff. And John's a great guy. I love his comedy. And I'm sure everybody in our viewership loves it. Who doesn't love John, right?
I love his comedy. I've interviewed him before. He's always been super nice, super professional. And I'm so excited that he's so proud of his heritage. And he's really trying to make a mark in our community, to tell our stories, because it's so needed. And, you know, I applaud this project. So I think we all need to support it.
Thank you. And for people who love John and you want to see how he works, that's what the whole documentary is about. It's like hanging out with John. We literally were on the road for 3 years, just him and I for the majority of the time.
Wow.
Literally hanging out in the comedy clubs, in the dressing rooms, in the green room. In the beginning, it was just me and him. Now it's a whole big team. But if you want to see what John is like behind closed doors, this is a great way.
This is a documentary to watch. And also, when is the play on Broadway going to come out? Do they have a date?
Yeah, it's opening at Studio 54 on October 19th in New York City. And tickets are on sale now.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Anything else you want to share with us?
We also have a TV show that we're working on with John. We have, we're doing an American Masters for PBS on Raul Julia.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So that's another project that we have that's a little further, it's not as far along, but it's definitely happening.
Awesome.
Well, congratulations. It's so
Thank you
wonderful
so
to see you.
much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us. And thank you guys for joining us.
We'll be right back with a lot more of the Trend Talk.